Alright, so I'm picking up where I left off on the last stream because that was a waste of time. But the goal of this is to kind of show you guys what I did to make this this super potato, right? I'm not even putting textures on this thing, right? That's just the just generic, as generic as you can get. And if I have any frame drops, it's mainly because I'm running like 3 powerful programs at one time and trying to stream and all that good stuff. So, but this is what we got, and let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's go to look at the next floor. So this is the lower floor, and if I hit the wall, see I got a wall. Boom, it's up on the wall. I'll show you how I figured that out. And let's go here. Look, floor blast. Let's see. I think I got the boom. So most of that stuff is gone. It's just a little bit of stuff left, right? So I'm going to show y'all what I did to create this here, right? And it's pretty simple. Well, I don't know. It's simple for me, but I'll go through the process, and hopefully you guys can pick up on it and make some more. Cause I'll probably make some more as well, but I'm probably not going to do every stage. Alright, so the first thing is, of course, you're going to have Tekken 8, and you want to have F model set up. I'm going to go ahead and jump into F model real quick. And I'm like partially blind, so forgive me. Okay, I'm going to do some real quick. So one of the things, if you start modding, start getting a lot of mods together, what'll happen is if you go into F model and even U model and you open it up, it's very easy to open up like all of the mods plus the actual game. So I'm gonna go in here to my mods folder, and I'm gonna use that little tool I made, and I'm gonna go ahead and just deactivate everything. Right, and I'm going to deactivate it because I just wanted to dig in here and do some research, and I don't want it to see the stuff. I might make this a little bit more, I think I might add a pause option, and then like an unpause, and then it's just straight I don't know, whatever, but I digress. Alright, let's go into F model. Alright, so what I want to do is I'm going to go to, I need to figure out how big this stuff was, right? So first I went into the UI, and I was like replace texture. I went down here to come look over the stage maps, right? So let's see, we got a stage map somewhere. I don't know if this little magnifier shows up on my screen, but I gotta use it. Okay, stage map. So if we go into stage maps folder, I'm looking for stage 11. So that's what volcanic bomb. Alright, here we go. So it's 28 by 28 and it's this octagon shape, and then it's 18 by 24 and it's this weird octagon shape, right? Now this is usually pretty straightforward. I could split this into 3s, you know what I mean, and then do the sides. This one was a little bit more technical, but I wanted to get the general idea, right? So it's 28 by 28 and 18 by 24. So that was the first piece of information I needed, right? I know it's 2 stages. So from there, and you'll write it down somewhere, I guess, if you want to. And the funny thing is, you start on the 2nd floor and you end up on the 1st floor. So keep that in mind. If you're going to go down, you're going to start on the highest one and go to the lowest one. So for me, in my references, I've got this set as the 1st floor and this one's the 2nd, but just so you know. Alright, so let's get out of replace texture, and I need to go take a look at the actual stage. And the first thing I wanted to do is I need to clear it out, right? I need to get all those rocks and everything that's in there, I need to get that gone, right? And so that process is pretty straightforward, right? So I'm going to assume that you know a little bit about Unreal Engine to get this far, so I'm not going to really go into like super hyper detail, or at least I'm going to try not to. And you should be able to navigate F model. There's a setup guide on my GitHub and on the Tekken Mods. I don't know if it's on tekkenmods.com, but it's on the Discord. So if you're seeing this, you probably know about this stuff. Either way, this is where the stages are. I'm going to Volcanic Bomb, and I'm looking at the sub levels. Alright, so the thing is, we can't make new U maps right now, and we can't change things the way we did in Tekken 7 because of the new setup. So what we can do though is we can replace a stage with an empty stage, pretty much replacing it with nothing, right, and getting rid of it. And these stages are built a little bit differently. So if I go into, let's look at game 1A. So if I click on game 1A, it's gonna open up and show me what that stage looks like, right? And I'm like, let's get rid of all of it, right? All these rocks, these are the floaty rocks, I think. And you can kind of like go through here, see what is what. But I'm gonna get rid of this stage completely because I want to put something brand new over top everything, right? So, what I did is here, I'll open up my Unreal Engine. I create the same folder structure, right? So what I did was I went and got content, stage 11, volcanic bomb, sub levels, right? And so to make a new level, it's very simple, right? So I can go in here and say new level, and you're gonna start off most likely on the open world stage, right? So I'm just gonna load that up, and it's probably gonna be so you're gonna get like this stage, right? This is gonna be the default like Unreal Engine stage, but we can't save this, right? So once we have our folders to where we need to go, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to make an empty level that's completely empty. So new level, and go to empty level. We'll just get that black, there's nothing here, right? And then we're gonna save whatever maps that we don't want, right? So let's say if I go in here, so there's sound, right? So it's st11_sound. So I don't think I made that map. So it's super simple. Save. Where is it? Save. Yeah, save current level as st11_sound. That's 2 underscores. I did. Okay, and then I make sure that it's in the folder. That it's in the folder I need it to be, and I just hit save. So now I got it. And I can actually just duplicate. Now I'm not a fan of just duplicating and copying, but in this case, you can. Because I'm going to create an empty no matter what. I could do that same process for each of these stages, but it's going to create the exact same thing. So in this case, I could just duplicate and then rename it. And if you got like a stage that doesn't have a name, then it won't get loaded. Okay, so you can only replace what's actually in the game. You spell it wrong, it won't get loaded. You spell whatever. So this will replace all the stages. So when you're replacing stages, so far what I found is that your barriers gonna keep you from like leaving the stage area and just walking wherever you want to, are all gonna be in the maps that have base in it. So let's see here. So if I'm looking at these maps, right, I'm going to look at the geomes first. I've got the effect map. I've got geome 1A GIM, which is probably for gimmicks. I've got geome 1A. But then I also have a geome base one, right? And there's also a demo geome base one. And I don't know if that's from the like story mode or not, but it's whatever. Either way, I don't mess with these guys, right? If these guys exist, I'm leaving those ones there. And we'll get some information from them in just a moment. But the other ones, if it's just got like stuff in it, just want to load up, right? There's that stage down there. And I'm not messing with the lights right now, but you can get rid of mobs. That could be any like character actors or things of that nature, and you can look inside the maps just like I was doing. And so if I click on, let's typical mob. And it's not opening anything. Or maybe it is. Let's see. Right. I guess mob is like an empty. So let's grab geom base. Okay, so there's geom base, right? And there's really nothing in this one. This one's empty. But you can open up the maps for the most part to kind of see what's in there. And decide if you want to get rid of it or not. Yeah, so let's go to geom base. Like why is this important? Well, this has information, right? As I said earlier, that stage is a weird shape, and I may or may not be able to create it the right way. Now, a couple of guys made like a version of what I'm gonna do in Unreal Engine for Tekken 7 near the end of it, but we didn't really put it to a lot of use, and so maybe we're gonna do it again for Tekken 8. But we'll see. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create the stage layout in Blender. That's my goal. So let's go ahead and move over to Blender real quick. So here I am in Blender. And these are the stages that I built, right? And I'm gonna show you kind of like what my first steps were. So let me go ahead and hide these. So let's set up my stage. Alright, I got this set to 1 and I got this set to centimeters. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a mesh plane. And I'm gonna hit view, frame selected. There we go, there's my plane. I'm gonna go up to item up here and I'm gonna take a look at how big it is. Okay, so this is 20 by 20, and I'm actually gonna change this to meters. So typically what'll happen is whenever you start up Blender, it'll be 1 in meters. So I usually just start my build like that. Okay, so this thing is 200 meters. What I want it to be is 28 by 28. Alright, so it's 28 by 28. Let me see. Yep, okay. So I just kind of like was testing to see if it looked good. But there we go, 28 by 28. That's my basic floor, right? And I know I got 2 floors, so I'm gonna hit Shift D. We'll make another floor here real quick. And if I go back to that image, well, I know what it was. It was 18 by 24, right? So 18 by 24. There's the size of the other one. And I'm like, cool, good stuff. But I have no idea how I'm gonna get these edges and how they're supposed to look. So for that, I'm gonna go and get some information from that geom. And for now, I'm gonna delete those. So let's go into F model and take a look at this geom base. And I don't need that. And what I'm looking in here is for Polaris wall, I think is what it's called. So I'm gonna hit Control F, Polaris wall, right? And these are gonna pop up. So these Polaris BP walls, but I'm looking for the static mesh. So I'm gonna keep hitting it and let me do this. And they're usually in the lower part of these things. And actually, let's see if I can just search static. And I could just like kind of scroll down here. What I'm looking for is coordinates. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pull this down until I start seeing some coordinates. And not really seeing any coordinates yet. I see some, so I'm like, what is this? So I can zoom in a little bit. Hey. These are Niagara components, so I don't want those. Those are like effects and stuff. Hey. So it's going down further. Oh, here we go. Here we got some stuff. All right, so we got some static mesh components, and we got this wall, right? So let's try to go to the top one, wherever that might be. So that's number 12. Go to 11. You go on 10. And then we got floor. So I'm guessing that this is going to be the first one. So I'm going to zoom in here. Oh my goodness. I don't have a page down button. Alright, so physics mesh, floor, and then static mesh component, 0. And so that might be a good thing to search for, static mesh component. Alright, so, but nonetheless, I digress. Okay, so here's our first one, right? Polaris floor, I don't want that one. Let's see, Polaris floor again, I don't want that one. Polaris floor again. Polaris wall, here we go. Polaris wall 10. So let's go down here. I don't care about any of that stuff. And I'm looking at this information right here. So I can look at the size. So this is assuming everything is starting at like 1, right? So it's going to be 35 on the X, 5 on the Y, 5 on the Z. So let's go ahead and jump into Blender. Let's go ahead and add a mesh. Let's see, mesh cube. Where is it? Right here. Alright, and I'm going to set my X to 35 and my Y to 5 and my Z to 5. Alright, and I've got this block. There we go. And there's my block. And I'm going to move this block up here because it's going to be like my default block, right? If I need another block, this is what I'm going to use. And let's go and take a look at model real quick. And let's see. So my first block here, all right, Polaris wall 10, and we could name it that if we want to. So you can make any corrections you might need later. All right. Let's go ahead and hit M, put this in a new collection. I'll call this demo walls. That way, if I want to hide everything else, I can. I just got demo walls here. All right, and let's name this one Polaris Wall 10. And look at stats. Where we at? Okay, so the first thing I'm looking at is relative location. So it's at 0.199 and 1159, and then it's also at negative 2850. So let's take a look at what that means. So X, I round, right, initially, and I'll show you why I don't care about the exact numbers, but I round initially. So that's just going to be 0, so I can keep the X at 0, and Y, we'll make it 1160, right? All right, so let's grab this one, and I can go over here in the Blender, and I've got my sizes here, and I don't care about scale or anything, leave that as is. We're going to go to this little section here, and I'm going to set it to 11.6. Alright, and I'm also going to set this at 0 for a second. Okay, so this is on the ground right now. Oops. Oh my goodness. I'm going to close this window. And I'm going to turn off. Okay, so here we go. There's my first piece, right? And so I got 0 and 11.6. For whatever reason, the way the math works. So just, it's pretty much, if it's in the thousands, just move it over. So 1,160 would be 11.6. It's pretty simple. Now this is saying at negative 2850, right? If I do negative 2850, which is negative 28.5, you'll see it drops it all the way down below there. And I can do that later, so I'm going to leave these all on here. I'm not going to change the z-axis, but I'm going to leave this right where it is. Alright, so 11.6, go back in here, and check it out. And then on the yaw, it's negative 1.14. So that would be like negative 2050, negative 0.0000 whatever. So that's pretty much just straight. I'm not gonna mess with that. Let's look at the next one. So the next one we're putting at 1438, and we're leaving the y alone. So let's go ahead and grab this one. Let's move this back up here and stop. Grab that piece. Okay, so let's make a Shift D to make a copy of it. Now let's go ahead and set it. So I said 1438. So 14.38. And let me set this back at 0. Right, there we go. And this one is going to be, I don't know what that is, so set that at 0. Hold on, let me see what's going on. So 1438, and then this one up here. It's 11:59. So that's still right. And oh, okay. And then here we go, 1438, and then the yaw. I'm not sure which one is what, pitch, yaw, and roll. But from my understanding, this works on the z-axis. So yaw is on the z-axis, at least for this purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and set my rotation on the z to negative 90. There we go. All right, cool. So I've got that little piece there. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. So I got negative 1450 and then 3.5. So negative 1450. Let's make a copy. So negative 14.5. I'll set this at 0. Oh my goodness. Alright, so this one's at 0. And let's set it. Oh, I gotta set it. Oh, let's figure out what the Y is. So 3.5, which is essentially 0. And this is also a negative 90. So I'll just keep that one at 0. And we'll make this negative 90. And where to go? And there you go. So we got that side. And we'll just go down. So now I got a negative 1329 and a negative 613. Negative, awesome. Man, I got bad memory. Okay, so negative 1329 I'll do first. So I'm going to keep grabbing from the same block. Shift D, bring it down, set it to 0, and I said negative 13 point, I'll say 0.6 because it was 0.9. Alright, and there is that piece, and this is going to be at negative 90 as well, I believe. I don't remember, let me see. Oh, I didn't get there yet. Let's see, negative 613. So we'll do that. So that will be negative 0.613, right? it moves it like so. Okay, let's look at it. So we got negative 60 on the rotation. So let's change this to negative 60. All right, there we go, negative 60. Okay, so the next one's going to be at 1315 and 596. I can't remember. So 13.15. Set this back at 0. And 596, which is 5.96. Alright, so we want that side set. And rotation is negative 64. And essentially that's the process, right? You're gonna go ahead and create these things. And if you look at it, right, if I look at it, you can see that these walls are eventually going to make this stage, right? This is probably gonna come up here. I'm gonna get another one that's gonna cut up in this side. And this is the negative 28850 stage, right? So all of these are going to end up creating the outline to my stage. And so what I did then, right, is I went ahead and then I can go ahead and make that mesh. So let's go ahead and create that plane, right? And I'm going to shrink it down. And let's go ahead and set it, right? So let's make it 18 by, I think 22 is what it was. Or, I don't even know, 24 or something. Or was it 24 by 18? Okay, that looks to make a lot more sense. Okay, so it's 24 by 18. You can see the little edges are getting snipped off, right? And so then I also do like the basic math, right? So if I know these are 5 in width, right? And this is going to be 18 on the Y, right? That's 9, right? 9 from the center to this side, and then half of this. So 9 plus 2.5, right? So 11.5. So I can take a look at this one and say, oh, 11.6. Now we can make that 11.5 and see if it like keeps everything nice and flush. Right, and that can be a kind of a way to like justify. I think these are kind of like just like made in general and like tweaked in the game, but we're not using these actual walls. The biggest thing that we want to do is create a stage when we're building our stage that is within the boundaries, right? As close as we can get to the barriers without like being too far away from the barriers so that it looks like our characters are bouncing up against nothing, or so far in that we're like cutting into those barriers, right? So this is gonna help you get the most accurate barriers out there for your setup. Right, so I just did this for all of the pieces until I had what looked like the stage. What helped me also was I went to edit mode with my just plain mesh, and I hit Control R to create loop cuts, and then I try to it's probably a little bit harder to see in this situation. Let's do it like this. I'll create loop cuts, Control R, try to line them up with where those intersection pieces are, right? And then, oops, I'm gonna do it again here. Top down view. Oh my goodness, R. And that's not exactly close. And that's looking pretty solid. And it looks, and So it looks like this line is hitting right here at this corner, and this on this side, and it's very even. And then I can just make a very calculated guess. They're not super complicated with the way they do things. If I hit backslash, I can isolate it. So what I can do is I can cut this out now, right? So I can, in vertex mode, I click on that, hold shift, and then we're gonna go to each of these edges and do this little like cut by 2 right here, 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 and then I'm gonna hit J, and it's gonna create a path that cuts all that stuff off. So I can cut it off if I want to. Right, I can click on this X spaces, and it's gone, and I've got my border for my stage. What I did was I just essentially did that, and then I brought my clips up, and then I made a box that goes around it, and I'll show you that here in a second. But that's the process, right? It's not a fun and elaborate process, but those are the first 2 major steps: deading everything with the empty levels, and then creating the actual base for your stage. And once you have your base, you can start building and doing whatever you want to. I don't have a barrier material set up yet, so, and the barrier materials are going to allow you to, like, when you turn, you don't see what's happening. So I'm just going to suggest keep like a perimeter around the stage that you're not bumped up against if you're going to design a stage. Once you have all that built, you'll have something that looks like what I have. So let's see. Let's see, is it this one? Okay. Okay, so what I have here is just my stages. You can build whatever you want to, but I've got 2 stages, right? I've got this stage here and this one. I'll go ahead and set it to X-ray and see what's inside. So, let me get in there. Alright, so let's turn it back to like there. So that's the inside of my stage. Right? I just got this little wall here. Oh my goodness. I don't know why it's so hard to see inside. Zoom. Alright, I think I got the zoom on as well. Okay. Alright, so yeah, there's the inside of this stage. Very, very simple. And then the same thing down here. I kept it very simple. The thing to note, if you're making a very simple, like one-sided stage, is check your faces. And you want everything that you're going to be seeing to be blue. And if I pull out here, you'll see that it's red. And what's going to happen is that because this side is not like the front-facing face, and I'm only using a one-sided material, so to speak, the other side is invisible, so I just see right through it. Can't see it right here, but when you get into Unreal Engine, you'll see, you just see right through it. And that's good because when I clip the edges or whatever, I want them to disappear. I don't want them to block anything, right? Okay, so once you have your stages and everything set, the other thing to do is to make sure you export it correctly. What I do, move this back down to 0. And you want your point of origin to be at 0. So if your mesh is like this and you've got a port at origin, let's say I did, let's go ahead and say Control A, all transforms, right? So now my point of origin for this thing, and I'm gonna hit backspace to isolate it. It's gonna be right in the, like, in the center of this thing. Alright, set it to origin. Was that going to fix it? So if I set it to origin, oh, now it's right in the exact center. And I do not want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this all to 0. I'm going to put it right down. And it's going to put it right, like, in half, right? So what I can do is I can take my Z and hit copy. I'm going to come over to my Z location. I'm going to hit paste and then /2 to divide by 2. And it will put it where it needs to be. Then I will hit Control A, all transforms. My origin is right there at the very center on the ground. It's going to help me for when I place things and do whatever. Okay, cool. So, that being said, Um, 35. All right. You're gonna go ahead and export it. The settings I usually use to export it is I set this. You can keep this at 1. And I think set this to centimeters. And so I should get something that's gonna, yeah, there you go, in this thousands, right? That's kind of like what I want. So when I import it into Unreal, it should look the right size. So let's go ahead and take a look at the import to Unreal. So let's go. Let's get those meshes in here. It's real simple. I'm gonna go ahead and just go to import. Find wherever you save your stuff. Right, and I'll just grab this one. It's gonna ask me if I want to overwrite it. I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna make a new folder, like just a demo folder here for a second, and I'm gonna import it into here. So I'm gonna import this one in. I won't have a skeletal mesh for this. I don't need it to be a skeletal mesh. You could say generate missing collisions or not. I don't think you need to. I just leave it as is. I pretty much keep it default. The only thing that changes is import normals and tangents. Usually that's just set to compute normals. So make sure that's set. I turn off any materials. So it'll say, do you want textures? No. Do you want a material import method? Do not create a material. And then if there's a physics option, don't do physics as well. Right. So then I would just import it and it'll bring it in. I canceled it because I already have it. Okay, so now I've got these two meshes, but I can't just drop these on here. If I were to drop these static meshes on here and save the level, it's going to crash automatically. So what I have to do is create a blueprint and then use the level blueprint to load it. And that sounds super complicated, but it's pretty simple. So basically, I will right click, create a blueprint, create an actor, right? There it is, boom. Just double click on it to open it up. And then all I'm gonna do is go to add, and then I'm gonna type in static mesh. Static mesh. All right, and I have like an empty static mesh placeholder, and I can go over here and I can find a static mesh to put in there, right? My one floor, this beach ball, whatever, right? I can hit this beach ball, and I got this beach ball. This is a really huge beach ball because I wanted it to be like, replace the planet Earth. But we'll go ahead, I'm gonna compile it and save it. All right, I'm gonna close it, and let's name this thing BP, I'll call it ST11 Beach. What am I calling it? Beach ball planet, right? Okay, so if I were to drag this onto the stage here, that's still going to cause issues. So we can't do that. So how are we going to get it onto this stage so it loads in the game? It's pretty simple. Let's go ahead and save everything. Save. Now, I made a custom assets folder to keep all of my stuff in for this stage. You can just throw it in here wherever you want to. As long as it's not something you're referencing from the game, you could put it, and I advise that you put it in like a folder and keep it organized somewhere else. Okay, so there we go. Boom. All right, so how do I get this in game? I gotta make a level, I gotta use a level blueprint. So this always confuses me. And so I was like, how do I make this blueprint? I just made a blueprint when I'm throwing the stage, I was getting crashes. And then I was reminded that if you go up here, and you go to open level blueprint, it'll open up your level blueprint. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, good to go. Now this is the level blueprint for stage 11 sound, right? If I want to, this stage is going to be loaded, but right now it's loading sound in the game. But if I put this into my mod, it is not going to load sound, right? It is going to load whatever is in this stage. So let's go ahead and add to this event tick or whatever a very simple code. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to type get all actors of class. Boom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here and I'm going to type in BP, and I'm looking for that beach. What do I call it? I call it beach. There, BP S11 beach ball. All right, cool. That's almost it. Hold on, I'm missing something. I am definitely missing something. Oh no. I don't need this open. Close. I should be able to get all the actors of class. Alright, yeah, I'm going to show you why I feel like I'm missing something. Let me go back to my sublevels and let's look for geom. And geom 1A is where I have all my stuff. So I'm going to load geom 1A. Load it up there. Let's go to my level blueprint. Oh, spawn actor. Okay, there you go. My brain was kind of dead on that. So let's go ahead and close this. Let's go ahead back to sound. Open that up. All right, I'm in sound. Let's go in here. Level blueprint. And yeah, not get all actors. I'm gonna go ahead and spawn an actor from a class. There we go. Nice. And I'm just gonna click that into here. So whenever this stage loads, it's gonna do the thing. And we're gonna hit beach ball, right? We want our beach ball. Bam. Now we also need to tell it where to go. So I can either create a transform. I can get an actor transform. You can set an actor transform. So what I'm gonna do is right click on this and hit split, and it opens it up. And this is like your location, your rotation, and your scale. All right, so I've got this blueprint on, or this ball in here, right? And this ball is really big. So let's see if I can find the Earth. I think the Earth is in here. But can I find it? I'm pretty sure. Let's see, SM, physics mesh. Actually, you know what? I think it's in a light. It's in a light one. Let's see. Look in here. Let's see, is it in here? Earth. Oh, there it is. Earth. Okay, cool. Let's see if we can find out where it's located. Enter again. Alright, Earth 2. Alright, I still need more data. Static mesh actor. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what is this? This is Earth 2 static mesh component. There we go. I don't know what all that is. Casting shadows, whatever. but let's take a look here. Ah, I want static. What? Come on, man. Make static mesh component. There we go. All right, static mesh component, and we're looking at, so the relative scale is like 3,000, which is what I think it is right now, and it's at negative, whatever this is. So let's grab this, and I'm gonna throw that into the Y or the X. Yeah, so where are we at? Let's go in here. Oop. There we go. And yeah, let's grab the other stuff. So we'll grab this one, copy. Yes. Let's throw it in there. And let's go to the last one. Alright, and then it's got a relative scale, and that's pretty much it. Oh, there's another Earth piece? What is this? So there's this Earth, 2. Oh, what is this one? Is this something different? Scripts, mesh component. Oh, this one is the moon. This one's using a moon texture instead. Okay, and then let's see, what about this one? Okay, and this one looks like the regular Earth. So maybe this is the info I want. I don't even know what this all is. Let's see, let's just grab this. Because I don't want to replace the moon. Really bad at hitting buttons today. So I'm compiling it and I'm going to save it. Let's see, let's go ahead and close that. Alright, I can go ahead and close that out and save all. Now another thing too that's going to be very important is that blueprint is where it's supposed to be, but I don't know where that mesh is, so I need to go find it because I don't think it's in my custom assets folder. I'll double check. So I've got the blueprint here, right? Where's the ball? So if I go in here, let's click on the ball. I think I can find the class in content browser. I don't even know, but I can just look up here. So game model ball beach meshes, and I call my mesh MICH for some reason. I'm tripping. So let's go grab it. Here we go, ball, model, ball beach, meshes. All right, and there it is. I don't know why I'm calling it that, but I'm not gonna change it. So I'm gonna grab this, and I'm going to hover over there and copy it there, right? I'm gonna leave this here for whatever I was working on. And now I got this ball in here, and I'm gonna rename this to ST11 Beach Ball Planet. Alright, now I'm gonna go back into here, and this one is referring to the one in the game ball section, but I want a different one. So I'm gonna type in beach ball, and we go ST11 Beach Ball Planet. That way I'm getting the right one. So hit save, and close. Alright, so let's just save everything. Nice. Alright, so I saved everything, and this is, so essentially what's going to happen is that that ball is now loaded into that blueprint. That blueprint is now being referred to in the level blueprint, and then the level blueprint will tell it to grab this blueprint, which has this ball, and place it at the location that I set in there. Right? Boom. And now I should have a beach ball in there. Also want to look at my beach ball and see if I have any materials on it. And I do. I have a MyCH beach ball. But this beach ball material is actually in the game and at that location. So I'm going to just keep that, and then it should load with the materials on it without any issues. So it's just a reference, so I don't need that reference in this mod. Alright, cool. So it's time to go ahead and cook. So what I use is a data asset, and that's this little thing right here. So basically what this does is that anything in this folder or in any of the folders below it are going to be put into whatever chunk designation I want it to be in. So if I click on this and open it up, you'll see that it says priority 1. I'm setting the chunk ID to be 800, and then apply recursively. I don't think that's a good idea to use. Then I use cook rule, so always cook. So 1 is for priority, this is the actual chunk ID, and then this is always cook. And then this is label assets in my directory. So whatever's in this directory and subfolders will be assigned to this chunk. And that's essentially going to be your mod, right? And so for this case, I've got this one here. And what I can also do is you can click on this and you can pick specific stuff that you want to be in there. But I don't need to do that at this time, so I'm not going to. But there are options, so I'm going to save all. And anytime I add something to these folders or anything that's under here, I always go in here and save it again. I don't know if that helps or not, but it's just a habit of mine. So for this mod to work, I'm going to need to have all this stuff here in the sub levels, so everything's in it, right? So all these levels, my sound levels in here, this is empty new folder, whatever, all that. All this stuff. This was some other test that I was working on that didn't work. So here we go. Now keep in mind, I'm going to cook it. So make sure it's for Windows, make sure it's set to shipping and package. Alright, so that's going to take a minute or so. It's important to keep in mind that you want to keep your asset signing like as close to the actual mod as possible, because think about this, like, so say I, instead of putting this into the stage here, maybe I'll put it into this section here, so maybe it'll impact more stuff. Either way, just be mindful as a modder of what you're setting up in the future and how easy it's going to be to clean up, because we don't have enough mods out right now and we have no idea what's going to go on with like conflicting mods and things of that nature. So just be ready to update your stuff and figure out a good way forward. But I digress. So hopefully what's going to happen is I'm going to have this earth floating out in the middle of somewhere. Yeah. And building your stage is going to be essentially the same thing. So I would suggest that you, as we have it right now, is to build your stage in Blender, right? You can build all your stages in Blender and then bring them over and set them as a single mesh using a method like this. Now, if you do Unreal Engine and you know a better way to create this setup, then by all means, please share it with the community. Because if you're doing a highly detailed stage, this could suck, right? And the better we help each other make mods work, the more mods we'll have, and hopefully the more information we'll have, and the better process will get. We did a great job with Tekken 7. I can't say I didn't build a lot of the tools and such, but you know, hand in hand with the guys that I have. And they did amazing work for the end of Tekken 7, the last couple of years of Tekken 7. And to start strong with Tekken 8, we're going to need fresh blood. They're willing to get in and learn the systems and understand the systems. That's going to be the key to longevity. If you're a modder and you just want to get it done, I feel you. But you'll be able to get a lot more done if you learn exactly why something works and why it doesn't work. And try to avoid like too many assumptions. Just get in there and figure out, okay, this is how I did it in the past or in a different system. Why is it working? Why is it not working? What's different between the systems? Things like that. Alright, so let's see. Let's see if this mod comes out good. Usually it gets messed up, but we'll see. So I have those into two different, I think that's just in one pack actually. Go back here and just double check. This is an 800, I believe. Okay, yeah, 800. I've got another mod to get rid of the effects, and I'll show you that in a second, but let's see if this one works. What's 802? Oh, that's another mod I was working on. Okay, so let's hit shift. So I'm going to copy all of these, and then I just got my stuff here, and I'm going to put this into my folder here, and I'm going to just going to paste it in here, and I'm going to hit F2, and then I do this. I don't know if you have to, but F2 allows you to rename everything that you selected at one time, and I'm going to call this 800 demo. And I'm gonna undo this 801. Right. So if what this little tool that I have here does, if you can't tell already, all it does is just rename the stuff. So it just renames the packs and the UTOX and the UCAS to have a different extension that won't be read by the game. And this is the mod that's working, so I don't want to get rid of it or delete it or overwrite it. So, but I want this because this is a mod that gets rid of effects, and I'll show you how I did in just a moment. Let's go ahead and test it out. I really wish I was better at doing this whole content creation stuff. But hopefully these videos do help. Alright, so the goal is to not have it crash. And then the second goal is to have it have a big beach ball. Oh, you know what's kind of crazy too? I don't even know if I'll be able to see the beach ball, to be honest, because of the stage that I built. So that was kind of ridiculous. I wasn't thinking about that. So first off, I just need to see if it's going to crash or not. And it usually lets you know pretty quick. Let's see.
Get ready for the next battle.
Okay, it looks like it should be good then. Oh no, it's not good. Let's see. Go ahead and do this. Boom. So I said I'm blind. Alright, so it's saying Vice or what? You know what? It might just be my system getting overloaded right now. Alright, well, scrap this video. I'm gonna have to go ahead and let all my stuff cool down. Then I'm probably gonna have to come back and redo this video, hopefully a lot shorter. I'm gonna take notes next time. Alright, but whatever. I mean, but that's the idea, right? It should work. It's been working. You see that I do have one that is working. But yeah, man, that's really disappointing. But I do gotta get some sleep. It's 4 in the morning where I'm at, so I gotta go.